India's air defense and electronic warfare systems have reportedly captured a trove of digital and electronic signatures from advanced Pakistani military platforms during a series of hostile engagements earlier this year. The captured data, collected during India's Operation Sindoor, is said to include unique signal emissions and system behavior linked to the Pakistan Air Force's J-10C and JF-17 multi-role fighter jets, as well as critical air-to-air and surface-to-air missile systems, marking a significant leap forward in India's threat library compilation and electromagnetic dominance. Indian defense officials and analysts, speaking to local media outlets, confirmed that during the short but intense phase of heightened hostilities last month, Indian radar arrays and ELINT platforms operating along the border successfully recorded signature-level emissions from Pakistan's frontline Chinese-origin weapon systems. These include not just radar and data link emissions from the KLJ-10A ESA radar on board the J-10C and JF-17 Block 3's Chinese avionics, but also digital telemetry and tracking signatures associated with the PL-15E long-range beyond visual range air-to-air missile and the HQ-9 strategic surface-to-air missile system. This is all being claimed by the Indian media. Only Indian media has published this. Friends, as you may have seen in my previous videos where I covered the India-Pakistan war, I always relied on international media sources. Even when Pakistan claimed losses on the Indian side, we examined those claims through international media reports and shared them with you. Similarly, when India made claims about Pakistani losses, we also tried to verify them using international sources. First, let's understand one important thing in today's modern era. Network-centric warfare plays a crucial role. The country with stronger electronic warfare capabilities has a greater chance of gaining superiority. During the India-Pakistan conflict, the most significant factor was the use of electronic warfare. We observed how Pakistan effectively used electronic warfare, first jamming the radar of the Russian-made S-400 system, and then launching the CM-400AKG hypersonic missile from a JF-17 Thunderblock fighter jet to destroy it. We have already presented proof of this incident. Now India is claiming that it has gathered a lot of critical information about Pakistan's electronic warfare capabilities, but will that really be useful in the next war? In my opinion, no. The biggest reason is that air defense radars do not always use the same type of frequencies. To detect enemy weapons, radars use multiple frequencies, a technique known as frequency agility or frequency hopping. There is a specific term for this frequency agility, which refers to modern radars rapidly switching between different frequencies to avoid enemy jamming or detection. This technique is part of what's called electronic counter-countermeasure. So, any information gathered today might not necessarily work tomorrow, especially in a dynamic electronic battlefield. Advanced radars use such waveforms and frequency patterns that make it difficult for stealth aircraft or enemy sensors to detect them. Some systems are also passive, meaning they do not transmit anything themselves, but instead detect signals reflected from other sources like TV towers or communication signals. Yes, it is possible that India may learn something from this, but it would be wrong to say that India will be able to completely jam Pakistan's electronic warfare systems in the future. Because so far in this war, we haven't seen any instance where India was able to jam any Pakistani system. However, during a live briefing, Pakistan's defense forces did play a recording of Indian Rafale pilots' voices, which clearly showed that Pakistan's electronic warfare systems had jammed and hacked Indian communications. As I have mentioned before, the frequencies emitted by radar are not always the same, they keep changing frequently. Moreover, the radars used in air defense systems are often mounted on mobile launchers, which also keep changing their locations regularly. However, in today's modern era, the side with better satellite surveillance has a significant advantage. According to India's Chief of Defense Staff, General Anil Chauhan, China's military satellites are fully accessible to Pakistan's military. He stated that any movement India made on the ground was quickly detected by Pakistan, thanks to this satellite support. So, based on my personal analysis, I believe India will now focus more on improving its satellite surveillance capabilities. So friends, this was a brief analysis to share your valuable opinions in the comments. That's all for today's update. Please subscribe and like this video.